We've caulked, we've sanded, we've scraped, we spot primed all this. You can see the difference. You know, all this was in good condition, so there's no need to prime it. Sometimes we prime it if people want to change color, we'll tint the primer. So right now Fabio is going to start putting on the finish paint with a brush, which is, if you don't have a sprayer, that's the best way to do. We always hit the undercuts first, hit all the joints, and then just finish with the face. And you'll see after this with the sprayer how much faster and more efficient it can be.
Is it much harder for a homeowner to learn how to use a spray gun?
It takes an hour. If you're smart, you're industrious, spend an hour with it. It is about $1,000.
Sure, you could rent one.
You can rent one, but it can cause more problems too.
Yeah.
So you just need someone to show you, or YouTube's great.
Yeah.
Another way to put it on quicker, the mini roller. If you don't have the sprayer, the mini roller, and then just come back after it's rolled.
Yeah.
And back brush.
I see that he did all the undercuts and then the side cuts.
Yeah, work all the joints first and then finish off with the faces.
Yeah. It looks like you can still see the grain of the wood, which is...
This is going to need 2 finish coats because it was a bold color change.
Yeah.
We did tint the primer, but the primer can only go so dark.
Okay.
Primer is only sold in white, and they now have a tinting base.
Huh.
So you can only get so dark. Paint comes in 5 or 6 different bases.
Yep.
So you can really dial it in. But we just want to get it close to help. If it was an exact match, you wouldn't be able to see where you're at when you're working. So it's good that it's slightly different.
Yeah.
And we'll put that on. And once you just finish off with the brush strokes.
So if it wasn't for that tinted primer, you'd have to do another coat.
Possibly, yeah. If you were just using white primer, I drive by a lot of homeowners doing a house and you white primer everywhere.
Yeah.
And for the same money,
yeah,
just say, hey, throw a couple ounces of blue in this, throw a couple ounces of green in it. You know, I just finish with the brush, finish off with the brush on the face.
Talk to us about the spray gun. What kind of spray gun is this?
So this is a Graco. We also use a lot of Titans. This is a smaller one.
Yep.
They are airless, which is very important. You know, the cheap ones they sell at Home Depot for $100. They aren't airless, so it's pushing air and paint through, which makes a lot of dust, a lot of overspray. These are much more accurate because it's pressurized to only shoot paint, no air. And we always try to hit the undercuts again with the sprayer. A lot of interior trim we do, we'll spray and just leave, no back brushing. It gives you a real nice factory finish.
Nice.
Usually outside, you want to brush it.
Yeah.
You want to work it in those crevices again.
Yeah.
Inside's more about the looks, outside's more about the durability.
Yep.
So inside paint's much thinner, much harder. Exterior paint is much thicker.
That's an important point too, is that a lot of people think of paint as purely aesthetic, but it's actually, you're saying it's actually a real protectant.
It's a protectant, yeah, exactly.
You want to make
and
sure
outside paint's going to be thicker.
Yeah.
And it's going to give more, it's going to be more elastic. Interior paint, everyone thinks it's the opposite. Interior paint is much harder because it doesn't have to expand and contract like outside paint.
Makes sense.
But
there's obviously a lot more movement on.
Right. The flip side is, if you were to paint exterior paint inside, it wouldn't look as good. It would look thicker, globbier. But you need that outside to really work it in.
Yep. And so even with the spray gun, he's still going back to hit the joints after.
Still hitting the joints, still hitting the undercuts.
And he's almost got a little bit of an upward angle on the spray gun.
Yeah, exactly. And this will dry darker. Paint dries darker 99% of the time.
Okay.
So once it dries, it will be this darker color.
Cool. That is beautiful.
That's a neat color.
Fabio, thank you very much. This has been another episode of Applied History. Thank you, Nate Sylvia, for being with us. Stay tuned. We have a bonus episode. Nate's going to show us how to clean your brushes and maintain your equipment so that you can live to paint another day. Thanks for joining us. This has been another episode of Applied History.